easy, and we're doing everything we can to mitigate the fires as fast as we possibly can. Chief Porter and Chief Justice Gardena will cover the fire-specific operations. I will just say that, as you know, there's been a lot of issues related to the evacuations in South Lake Tahoe. I will say that we've been working closely here at the State Operations Center with El Dorado County, the city of South Lake Tahoe, and the incident management team on proactively planning for safe and orderly evacuation of South Lake Tahoe. The evacuation order is now in place for South Lake Tahoe, which also extends up into Kirkwood, which is part of the Alpine County. It's important to follow all the local authorities' issuance of evacuation information as the conditions change rapidly. Although in the planning effort over the course of the last several days, there have been a number of evacuation warnings, and the information is being pushed out leading up to today's evacuation order. And there's been a tremendous amount of work over the weekend with all of the different local, state, and federal partners working in the South Lake Tahoe area, going out and knocking on doors, making sure that all of those folks knew if they needed to evacuate, they could. That included evacuating the jail in South Lake Tahoe. It included evacuating Barton Hospital in South Lake Tahoe, and it included making sure that individuals who had any access and functional needs issues had all of the transportation or all those assets that were required to be able to get them out in a timely and organized fashion. It's important to note that to get evacuation information, we are asking residents of El Dorado County to sign up for Code Red. That is their electronic information dissemination capability. It's how they do their emergency notifications specific to El Dorado County. It will alert residents and businesses by telephone, cell phone, text messages, email, and social media when there's a threat and there's any new information coming across. So that's Code Red, and you can go online and in El Dorado County and sign up for that. You can also go to the CalOES website and pull up alert orders and click on that and go find El Dorado County and connect in with the Code Red as well. Also, since our last briefing, we had asked, the governor had asked the president for a presidential major disaster declaration. The White House did approve that major disaster declaration, actually within 24 hours after the governor had submitted it. And Andrew Grant, the federal coordinating officer appointed by FEMA, is here today. He'll talk a little bit about that. This federal support will really help impacted counties in Lassen, Nevada, Placer, and Plumas counties at this point. We also have states of emergency, and under the states of emergency through the California Disaster Assistance Act for El Dorado and the Wildfire and a few of the other counties that aren't under federal declaration but are seeking and are getting state assistance. And so we'll hear more about that from Andrew in a few minutes. We know these are difficult times, and we continue to be all hands on deck. We're moving every resource we can within the state to support the fires. We currently have more than 15,000 personnel working on fires throughout the state. That includes nearly 1,200 fire engines, 315 hand crews, 367 bulldozer units, 411 water tenders, and 111 helicopters. Our robust mutual aid system, supported by local government, fire agencies, and allied agencies across the state, continues to bolster this firefighting effort with over 470 engines from within that system committed. In addition, we continue to have out-of-state resources from Utah and Washington, Wisconsin, and West Virginia. And we did have crews here from Louisiana, which had to cut loose to go back to Hurricane Ida, which is another major, obviously, catastrophic event that's taking place in the country and is a pull on resources from throughout the United States, including our federal partners at the Forest Service and at FEMA. And we're providing resources now to more than 43,400 Californians who are under evacuation. More than 650 are housed in 15 congregate and non-congregate shelters being coordinated by the Department of Social Services here at the state and along with the Red Cross, and then our county partners throughout the state that are working at the county level in being able to support that. We also are coordinating very closely with our Nevada, the Nevada Emergency Management Agency for cross-border evacuations at state line in Nevada, in South Lake Tahoe, with regards to individuals that are moving out of South Lake Tahoe and moving into and may need congregate or non-congregate sheltering on the Nevada side. And as I mentioned, that is ongoing as we speak, and we know that there is a pretty big group of people moving out currently the South Lake Tahoe area. All of this, of course, is a reminder that it's very critical to be prepared and alert here. We are still at the beginning of our fire season, and we know that this past weekend we were breaking fires throughout the state, and the fire assets that responded to those are CAL FIRE and the Forest Service and our local governments. The initial attack, they did a great job trying to keep most of those fires small and getting them out rapidly. Very important that you learn the difference between evacuation order and evacuation warning. An evacuation warning means there's an impending danger to life or property. If a warning is given, assume that evacuation order will probably follow at some time, so we want you to pay close attention to that. An evacuation order means that there's an imminent threat, and we want you to leave the area immediately. If given an evacuation order, as we've said many times, don't wait, evacuate. It is your life, and we want to get you out of harm's way. It also allows firefighters and other law enforcement personnel, law enforcement mutual aid, et cetera, to be able to get into the area and get the job done. And then, again, sign up for those alerts, as I mentioned earlier. You can visit calalerts.org, calalerts.org, to be able to pull down information on that. If you have been evacuated or have lost your home, please follow Cal OES or your county for updates on how to apply for assistance. But most importantly, you should be reaching out to your insurance companies now, if you have insurance, talking to your insurance providers to be able to begin that process. That's the first line in being able to get government assistance. We know that there a lot of work lies ahead, but this continues to be truly a one-team, one-fight effort. And I want to thank all of the folks who are working here, all the folks that have been working in the field. We have a lot of very dedicated, hardworking, very tired firefighters and law enforcement personnel and support personnel, public, private, and non-governmental, all working together to try to mitigate these fires, and so we'll now know and learn more from Chief Porter and Chief Scardina from the Forest Service. I'll turn it over now to Chief Porter for the fire update. Thanks.
Well, thank you, Director Ghilarducci. Again, Tom Porter, Director, CAL FIRE. And what I'm going to focus on today is kind of the big picture in California and what things look like overall. First and foremost, thank you to all of the mutual aid response, local government for sure, absolutely critical to all of these fires and all of the firefight, but our federal partners for really stepping up and moving resources into the region, and then all of the CAL FIRE units from throughout the state moving resources to the needs at hand. It's one team, one fight. We're all in this together. While a lot of these are on other jurisdictions, we're all fighting these fires as if they are one fight for California, and that is an incredible thing that California does each and every year, and particularly here we are in August yet again. So in the north part of the state, we've been talking about a lot of fires that are still burning in the north part of the state, the River Complex, the Antelope, the McFarland and Monument fires in particular. There are new fires that are cropping up in those areas, McCash and Knob fires. All of these fires in the north part of the state are ones that we have resources on and we're fighting, but we're also knowing that those are less concerning concerning to lives and property right now than other fires. So they are looking much better. We are watching the weather and watching how they react in the weather, but those fires are pretty much doing what they're going to do for this point in time. Circle down to Southern California. Southern California in particular, over the weekend in San Diego County, we had a really touchy fire, the Chaparral fire. Chaparral fire is burning right on the border between San Diego, Orange County, and Riverside County. Real tight little spot, looked pretty remote for those counties. Great stop. Stopped it at 1,500 acres. Probably by the end of the day today, we'll see evacuation orders lifted in the communities of Duluth and those areas outside of Temecula. Really good stop. Can't emphasize it enough that we are still meeting our responsibility to get fires put out at the smallest possible size during initial attack and that early extended attack so we can continue the fight on these bigger fires. The rest of the fires in the south are Arola, the French, we're doing really well there. So I want everyone to know, well, we're taking care of the rest of the state as well. Coming back to the critical fires, the DIXIE. DIXIE is still the second largest fire in California's history. It is the 14th most damaging fire in California's history. And we're continuing to fight that in two fronts. One up in the north, the Lassen National Park, as it moves into parts further north from there. A lot of effort being undertaken there, and then down toward Quincy on the south end, east of Quincy, Genesee Valley, a lot of work and good work being done there. So then we come to the Caldor. Caldor is a real tough one for us. It's been burning in heavy timber in Deep Canyon Gorge of the Highway 50 corridor between South Lake Tahoe and Sacramento. And very difficult terrain as well as conditions to fight fire. On the west end of that fire, Sly Park, Grizzly Flat, which was significantly damaged in the first days of this fire, that area is starting to get some control. And so we're starting to feel better on that west side, which is important in case we get a north or east wind event. That fire pushing back out and then into communities closer to the valley floor and then getting into more of the populated area in the state responsibility. Now that doesn't translate exactly the same for the east side of the fire. The east side of the fire, difficult road conditions, hard to access. It's been burning in heavy timber, just very, very difficult conditions. We've been making headway at times. I reported last week about how we have effectively an inversion that puts a kind of a lid on fire activity. But then when air clears, it's like taking the lid off of your pot of boiling water. All of a sudden there's that plume of heat and steam that comes out. Same thing happens on a fire. It also sucks in oxygen from all directions, puts fire and spot fires in all directions. That's what happened yesterday. 20,000 acre plus run yesterday. Massive growth for that fire. Not the biggest growth of its life, but it was the biggest in the last week and a half. And it unfortunately grew toward South Lake Tahoe further up canyon. Twin Bridges. It burned into Sierra Tahoe, the ski area, and beyond that. So now the fire is hung up on that ridge above where it would drop into the basin. We have spots down in and around Lower Echo Lake. Also in Aloha Lake in the Desolation Wilderness. So there's fire in the basin. You might remember a couple of reports ago, we haven't had fires burn from one side of the Sierras to the other. We did with the DIXIE, now we have with the Caldor. 2 times in our history, and they're both happening this month. So we need to be really cognizant that there is fire activity happening in California that we have never seen before. I've said it before, but the critical thing for you, the public, to know is evacuate early. Warning. Warning doesn't mean you have to stick around and wait for the order. You can go during a warning. You can go if you're sucking smoke and you have respiratory or other underlying issues and you're in the smoke for days. You're not going to be out of the smoke for many more days, so find a way out. Go to clear air. Look out for your own health and safety. Allow for firefighters to do what they need to do without having to rescue you, without putting out fire as their main focus right now. We need people to leave, and we need you to leave early. In the basin, for the last week, we have been planning for, in coordination with Nevada, California, the Basin Management Unit, Region 4 from the Forest Service, Region 5 from the Forest Service, all coordinating plans to evacuate South Lake Tahoe. Those are happening today in a very orderly fashion. There is a method to the triggers that are being pulled and the timing for each of those. It's time to start going. For the rest of you in California, you've heard me say this before, every acre can and will burn someday in this state. Be ready now. Be ready now, before there's a warning. When there's a warning, you put everything in the car and you go, or you wait for the order and you go. Be ready now. With that, I'm going to pass the mic to Tony Scardina, Deputy Regional Forester for Region 5 here in California.
Good afternoon. Thank you, Chief Porter. I'm just going to give some brief updates of so what's different from last week. What is the same is we continue to be at preparedness level 5 nationally. That's the highest fire preparedness level. That has not changed since July 14th. In the north half of California, we remain at PL 5 as well. And in the southern part of the state, we move from 3 to 4, meaning that we've seen some increased fire activity. You saw it on the Cleveland National Forest. You saw it down near the San Bernardino National Forest with the South Fire. As Chief Porter mentioned, we're happy that we were able to get containment on several of those, but we're starting to see that drying trend. And so as Southern California starts to come into play into September, one of those concerns when we talk about resources already being strained in the north part of the state and other parts of the country, when we add Southern California into that, that's where we have to remain vigilant in terms of our initial attack capability so we can stay aggressive there, and that message of communities being ready and prepared for that. There are 27,000 firefighters deployed throughout the United States at this point. Over 15,000 of those are in California. If that tells you the amount of resources we have that we are putting to these priority fires to try and fight them aggressively and suppress them. To date, 1.7 million acres have burned in California, and that is significant in terms of communities impacted and recovery we will have to do, so our hearts are really with impacted communities. And as Tom mentioned, just continued growth over the past 48 hours on several fires in Northern California. Conditions started to dry out a little bit, winds started to pick up a little bit, and we're going to see red flag conditions in the northern part of the state over the next 48 hours. So expect to see growth on these fires, and we are preparing for that as best we can. But same thing, when it gets hotter and drier, we're going to see more smoke in the air, and we want the public to be aware of what you're seeing and be prepared as your local counties and others communicate with you. We are getting ready to prep and activate 250 soldiers of active duty military. They are getting ready to be trained and move into the northern part of the state as we did last year to support fires in California, and just really want to thank our partners with Department of Defense in bringing additional resources to really shore up some of our own folks that are on the ground. We've also activated two more C-130 aircraft with Department of Defense. They have a total of 8 that we refer to as MAFs. This is the first time since 2012 that all 8 of those have been activated when there was significant fire activity at the time in Colorado. As Tom mentioned, Caldor last night was very active. In one place, made a 7-mile run to the northeast of Highway 50, and another place made an 8.5-mile run. So that's the unprecedented fire behavior that Tom's referring to that we have not seen. And we're wanting to make sure that communities understand We are going to continue to manage in a coordinated and calm way, but we also need them to be ready. The first priority at this point is making sure people get out safely and we don't have loss of life. And that ready, set, go message, just be prepared. As Tom mentioned, you don't always have to wait for the evacuation order. If you get that warning, start to think about what's the right time for you and your family in that situation. And as I always do to close, I want to thank our firefighters, support personnel. I was out this week in one of our dispatch centers seeing what those emergency dispatchers do every day to respond to fires, make sure resources are where they need to be. It's a type of work that we don't often see because it's not on the fire line, but just really critical on what those people do together, and as well as with our partners. And that final message of one team, one fight, and we know we have months ahead of us potentially, and the confidence that we have is through our partnerships and that we will get through this together amongst the agencies that you see here and with the citizens of California. Thank you. And I'm now going to hand it over to Major General Baldwin with California National Guard.
Thanks, Tony. I'm Dave Baldwin with the Cal Guard. The Cal Guard has 1,059 soldiers, sailors, and airmen providing support to fire suppression operations. This support is a broad spectrum of military capability from space-based platforms down to boots on the ground, where we're providing fire suppression, incident awareness, and support to law enforcement. Today's newest mission is we're mobilizing 150 military police members to go support El Dorado County and the California Highway Patrol in conducting traffic control points and securing evacuated areas. Looking forward, we're going to facilitate and assist in the deployment of the active component hand crews that are coming from Fort Lewis, Washington over the next couple of days, in addition to mobilizing an additional force package of Cal Guard hand crew members. And then we are also postured and in contact with our partners from our states that are impacted by Hurricane Ida, and we're postured to deploy life-saving support or logistics support to those states from the Cal Guard if requested and necessary. And I'll be followed by Assistant Commissioner Ryan Okashima from the Highway Patrol.
Thank you, General Baldwin. Good afternoon, everyone. Safety continues to be the California Highway Patrol's first priority. We appreciate the ongoing partnership that we have, the collaborative effort that's been going on with all of our public safety partners that you see behind me right here. Thank you very much for those personnel, General Baldwin. We appreciate that assistance on those traffic control points. The California Highway Patrol continues to provide assistance with exactly that, traffic control points, evacuations when necessary to assist our allied law enforcement partners, and also with additional patrols to areas that have been evacuated so we can prevent looting that may be taking place. Additionally to that, the Caldor Fire specific, just last night, yesterday, we've added quite a bit of additional personnel to assist with those evacuations that are taking place today, currently as we speak. And our Valley Division Emergency Operations Center is fully operational as we speak as well. We've been talking about evacuations, the warnings, the order to evacuate. I want to talk a little bit about preparedness. I just would like to tell everybody, be prepared when you get that warning. Make sure your vehicles are completely fueled. You have your personal belongings that you want to take with you in your vehicle ready to go. You have your medications and some food and water, just in case those evacuations take a little bit more time due to congestion, evacuating the area. That will help us out tremendously. Also, please listen to CHP personnel, law enforcement personnel, when that order to evacuate is given, to ensure that you are ready to go and that you listen to the direction of law enforcement, National Guard potentially, as to which evacuation routes you're to take. And as we talk about evacuations, as I mentioned, they're ongoing right